Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in again for another thrilling episode. But this time around is the very first one of season 2. We're excited to have you join us, and I love what we're about to do. Honestly, my guests have straight faces. Looks like they're at gunpoint to be on this episode, but we'll
not anymore.
Not anymore. Sure. Okay, so shall we introduce ourselves? I mean, from my left to my right. Yeah. Oh, you're wondering where my left is?
Yeah, I got it. My name's Calvin, and I'm for an asset consultant at onpoint.
Okay, sure.
You need any other?
If you're wondering
do
do
you want more?
Yeah, I don't want more. Okay, perhaps you would add that you're a church choir director.
Oof.
Okay.
Come in.
Amen.
All right, Victor.
My name is Victor Amadi, and I'm a DevOps engineer at onpoint.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm Benjamin, and I'm onpoint director.
Oof.
I was raising director of operations.
Yeah.
That's Ben.
Yeah.
We call him Father.
Director. Ooh.
Father Ben.
I'm so young, though.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So you might be wondering what entirely, this particular episode is going to be about. But I mean, by the heading or by the topic, you should have a clue. So we are basically going to be talking about Q1, what we've all experienced. But then, from your perspective, I think one of the most used words I heard in this particular Q1 was locking in, and I just want to get it from your perspective. What was Q1 like? Were you even prepared for Q1, or it snuck up on you? Like, tell me about it. Anyone can just take it.
Right, so I think Q1
I was going to mention names.
Q1 has been very interesting. I had lots of plans to implement in Q1, looking at some things we faced in the previous year, plans and things that we couldn't achieve. So I was looking at trying to start it ASAP in Q1. But Q1 also came with some new projects too.
Yeah.
And it made it quite difficult, but still we are here, and we'll also just try and push through. Yeah.
Yeah, vibes and inshallah.
Yeah.
All right. Calvin?
I must have been taking it as it comes. It's been happening to me more. So there's a general idea, or I can say a plan of some of the major things. But a lot of the other things are happening, and I'm responding to them. So that's kind of how it's been, especially for work, because of the project and how they come up. But there are other things in my personal life as well that I've sort of had to adapt to, and other ones that were in my plan that I've been able to. Is there any
I mean, I normally don't expect Calvin to go to personal life, because I mean,
Right.
None
the
of
four of
this
us
was meant
at this
as a
table.
joke. I don't know why.
Like, I was not expecting Calvin to go there, but I think now that you are there,
I mean, what about Q1?
Just
This is a
please
Q1
go
of my
on.
life.
Now that
Stay
you're
there.
You didn't specify this is a Q1 of my
so
life.
yeah, in your personal life.
Yes, it's been alright. There are some like, I'm not a resolutions person necessarily.
I think we are going to actually talk about that. So
but just the general idea of things that I would like to accomplish, some of which have not been done, but there's still room to do them. But others have been done. They're on track. So I would say that Q1 has been mixed, but mostly or generally positive.
all right.
That was a mouthful.
That was what.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know how to continue from that.
We'll come back to that, but
Yeah.
No, I've said it all.
Yeah, you definitely did. You said a lot. But I think Q1 has been great for me. Great. Like, I think this has been the best Q1 I've ever had.
That's the first.
Yeah, because
that's the first.
Because for like generally people start Q1 and then be like, oh, I wanted to do this, but then it hasn't happened. But for me, I think it's just been progress, and I've experienced wonderful things. And work-wise as well, I've been able to do things that...
Well, you sound like an NDC MP who just came to power. Just came to
Well,
power.
yeah, I did come to power at work.
Your party came to power.
No. Oh, please.
Because what?
Oh, please.
He's an
I'm an
overseer now.
overseer. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I did come to some sense of power, but like I said, I've just moved from where I was to where I am now, and it has been great so far, and I expect that the rest should follow.
Excellent. I think this is the very first hearing someone talk about how Q1 has been very successful. Because let me talk for myself.
Okay.
I had not ever taken the year in quarters before than ever like this particular one. January has come to pass, March, February, March, but to have to narrow it, I think there's been a lot of discourse on social media. I mean, the pages we normally probably, let me say, sometimes dwell, not the entire time for some, I mean, with respect to our rules and stuff like that. But the conversation about Q1 has been more and more in my face than past. So I think it just sort of ushered me into, and more so, Onpoint has been quite intentional about that particular conversation. What are the benchmarks for the past quarter as just opposed to this particular new one, and I mean stuff like that. So I have never done that, and ushering into the zone, I won't say it's been successful like how Victor has actually narrated. There are a few things that we are still working on. They're still in the pipeline.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we're working on stuff, right? Things, but I rather think it's more like, you think about what you want to achieve. It's like someone going to register for the gym on January 1st and then
this is where I have a beef. That upon all the examples,
That's you.
no. I didn't mention names.
But why?
It's
sure.
It's a typical example.
Take it away.
It's a typical example.
Sure.
People try to accomplish something like you said, you're not a resolutions person, but then most people tend to navigate towards it's a new year, I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to do this. And for me, I never thought it's a new year, I want to do this. I just jump into it like you said. But I can say for a fact that I've just had progress from in this Q1, but I work personally in my life, and yeah.
When you get personally, you start smiling. I'm not sure what you're thinking.
There's just a lot to smile about, because I want to double down on those some questions when it comes to the personal.
Shoot.
Okay, I think that when people say Q1, it sometimes sounds ambiguous in the sense that it looks like a whole, you need
It's
to know.
It's
such a corporate bougie word, because I feel like it's basically having a destination in mind and how to actually get to that destination. You break it down to your own taste. You get it. But me, then again, I'm sitting here saying that I'm not a resolutions person, which is very true, because this particular year I was not ready for. I don't know why. In every single aspect of my life, I just wasn't ready to transition into a new year yet, because I feel like, Charlie, we wrote a lot of things down to accomplish last year, but quite a number of factors came to play to disrupt the plan. You get it. So, I mean, Kwame, from your perspective as well, being a resolutions person, what particular is the reason, or you've just not been part of that train?
I've just never been. I've not really thought about it. When it happens and everyone gets in the mood, I've never really gotten in the mood to set explicit resolutions. I have a general idea in my head, and usually the way the year goes, things happen and you respond to them. But within a kind of framework of where generally you want to be. So that's how it usually goes for me. Until you plan to do certain things and you discover along the way that like that's not even what you should be doing.
Right.
And so it takes you on a different path. So that's how sometimes it goes. Like you might fall in love and it just changes everything. So like things, or you meet someone, or you go to a networking event. I'm talking professionally, please.
That's true.
So
we stay on it.
there are different things that can happen.
Right.
Then
The
they
year
hype
that
man.
really change things. Sometimes for the better, sometimes.
All right.
Yes,
so
man.
great.
And so, I get quite confused when people say that they don't really do resolutions, because I think in one way or the other you will end up doing one.
Resolution. Okay.
Right. Even from where I sit, I deal with numbers. I have to plan the next year. You can't say that you won't plan, and in turn, it's actually a resolution that you are still placing on. For me, I have to plan whether I like it or not. And planning 2025 has been a challenge. Because you have to understand that the terrain and the changing environment, the changing systems, and getting here hasn't been easy actually. We are in the fourth month, right?
Fourth, yeah.
Yes, and it's quite interesting. No matter what, I'll still have to try and plan. But let's see how we get through this year. Yeah.
Great. So just to let the audience know that it's just not any ambiguous word. It's you having a certain destination in mind and putting things in place, to actually get to that place. So let's for on point has had some notable events when we talk about quarter one. And even before I get there, let me ask this question. How is your love life? Anybody can.
I'm safe. Yeah, for me.
Ben is married. He's listen. He has a cute, a wonderful family. This question is actually directed to these two gentlemen.
My love life's fine. It's fine.
Are you sure?
It's great.
You're sure you want to use the 4-letter word to talk about your love life? It's just fine.
It's great. Look, what do you want to hear?
It moves to 5-letter word.
I made it 5. Look, you know something I don't.
I know something they don't. I actually know something you don't. So
Why don't you tell us?
well, let's hear from the host.
No, it's fine. It's been one of the parts of my Q1 that have been
number one
more
P,
positive.
Right?
So yeah, it's positive. I like it.
Okay, Victor, you should. Okay, Victor.
Can you continue?
No, I don't want to.
Did you find love at the beach?
Not even in Ghana. You want to find love in Nigeria?
How did we get here?
So,
That's a good
just in case you're not aware, one of the notable events, which we actually, so that sort of, my question led us here about your love life.
All right.
So, On Point was in Nigeria. As to what and as to why, we'll be talking about that soon. But then, Victor had a notable event, just as the company as well had a notable event.
Yeah.
We were in Nigeria for business. It was pretty much an explosive experience from each and every single perspective. Jay was, someone was supposed to be on this particular episode to, from his perspective, to narrate the experience as well. But what we can't let go is Victor sort of finding love or being in a certain interesting situation at the beach. So, Victor, please, do you care to explain, or you want us to move on?
Well, a lot has been said, and a lot can be said, right? So I'm treading safely. For the incident,
you are taking your words like Tinubu, you know that.
No, the beach was the beach. The beach was the beach.
Or like what happens in Lagos stays in Lagos.
That commercial is a fucking lie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please take that. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Someone
sorry.
will say, speak
I'm
your
so
truth.
sorry. Right. But I don't think anything stays anywhere. What I'm saying is that
Victor, you're struggling. I don't know, you're struggling.
What happened? Yeah,
Okay.
just straight.
what happened?
Mhm.
What happened at the beach? What happened at the beach?
So one thing about traveling with someone is that when you work with someone, you know a certain version of them, but when you travel with them and you live with them, you get to experience a different side of them. I suppose a more human part of them, and I think in summary, this is the part of Victor that I discovered.
Okay.
Just
I think I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know when I actually arrived?
Yeah.
I was sharing a particular name on Victor's tongue.
When you go,
Yeah.
so just
but-
so the
but-
audience are aware,
but
we actually went to Nigeria in Q1.
Yeah.
We were there for close to a month.
Sorry, not to cut you short.
Yes.
What's the title of this podcast again?
The Q1.
All right. All right. So okay.
Yeah, I can go.
Yes,
So
yeah.
we're in Nigeria. I mean, for on business as usual. Quite some huge milestones ever in the company's trajectory over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So myself, Calvin, Victor, Ben joined later. I mean, that was literally when I actually came back because I was there for about three weeks.
three weeks.
Yeah. And then Jay as well was around.
Yeah.
So just to give some context, we had a very huge conversation we're going to have in Nigeria. We actually had it. It's been very successful. But in due time, would actually bring the entire narration here so that you understand what exactly we went to.
Yeah.
Due to a few here and there signing NDAs and stuff like that, we can actually disclose. But there's a notable event that we can talk about, that is with Atlassian. But then we will not skip, I mean, Calvin's remark that when you travel with someone, you get to know like a more humane or a more, a perspective of the person.
I agree.
So let's please take it off. You heard a certain name on his lips.
Anytime I move to his room or I even pass by, I could hear a particular name, running through. And
would you care to let us and the audience know that name?
Wait. The NDA.
That NDA?
Yeah. Like, what's the whole?
It will be fair. Okay.
it breaches the NDA.
But the name was lovely to,
To hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
To him, actually, not to me.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
So, Calvin, I think I really like where you were coming from.
And this is about everyone, by the way, not just Victor.
We know ourselves
you.
on a certain level, and that's that we come to the office. And I think daily we've seen a bit like some specks of, the human part.
Yeah.
Me selling kinky.
Me cooking, me in the kitchen.
Yeah, he discovered he could actually do that when
Really?
we were in Nigeria.
I never knew.
A huge discovery. Victor did that. But
well done.
But
Yeah.
okay, I was around with
Thank you.
Calvin and Victor a lot. And
Yeah.
Jay before you came. So I will speak from my perspective, the humane side. So Calvin and I think we were all much in, we had an itinerary like every single day.
Yeah.
We are moving to A, B, C, D. And I, before we sleep, even know what we are going to eat because I'm the kitchen person. And I'd just rush and do that. Victor,
Those were good times.
Yeah.
Until
until I had to leave.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely.
was a bad one.
Oh my god. I didn't. No, that's not even how you meant it. Because tell me why. I think the nights after I get to Ghana, like at dawn, I get a message from JT and it's like, we really were not prepared for your leaving, like for a departure. Because I want to believe, like, guys always have to find a way, but when there's someone to make it less stressful, it's very much noticeable. Like it can't go without saying. So I noticed that we were actually at game to do what exactly we want to do there. We didn't spend a minute less, a minute more exaggerating. We just kidding. We moved to, I was on the part of documenting the entire experience, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody and being the splendid teammates that they are with the projects that we can actually talk about, and even also onto another notable event we hosted last year in Nigeria. I mean, that was huge. I remember we were at the what was the name of it? 1004 apartments.
Yeah.
That's the name of where the place we were actually, lodging. And we went one day to on a search for a suitable place to host the execs dinner, and it was such an experience.
Ooh.
Walking in with the name of onpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about that experience for a lifetime, because it was just something else.
Yes.
It seemed that we weren't with the emblem of onpoint, but in the way we communicated, a company that has a vision and is seeking to do A, B, C, D, and the kind of reception we got from the Nigerian people.
Yes.
Nigerians are very intense, super intense. I believe that even if it's to the good of whoever or to the bad, they're very extremist. If you're doing good, it's very extreme. You're doing bad, it's very extreme as well. But that entire reception was interesting. So I don't know if anybody wants to talk about the humane part, because I didn't wait for Ben to come around, but I've experienced Ben's humane part.
I'm kind, actually.
Oh yes, he is. I've experienced that part, and
I'm the best here,
it was
actually, right?
It was very interesting in that apartment. Very interesting. I mean, we had some very good times that we can't forget about. Some very, very good times.
I don't think anyone experienced my humane part.
Oh, I think when you came around, Victor and Calvin.
Nah.
I would like
one.
you to take lead on this.
Are you sure?
No one.
No. Okay, one thing I can say for sure is
About Ben.
about Ben. Yes, is there's this special character that Ben has, and I'll say it everywhere and anywhere. I think he knows where I'm going to. He has this special ability to solely, when I mean solely, by himself, all by himself, without in any environment, he walks in and you know that he's in.
There's a difference, yeah.
Yeah. And he's able to take on anyone.
That's fair.
Yeah. And
I appreciate that.
Okay.
That's fair.
It's fair.
Okay.
It's fair.
It's
Right,
fair.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Because Ben comes in. We've been living in this apartment. Sorry. Okay, yeah, we've been living here. Dude, you just came. You just came, from another country, and you showed up in the apartment, and then it feels like I was here before you came.
You know what makes it worse? You're Nigerian, Victor.
Exactly, I was here before you came, so I'm now here, so you guys can laugh. And that's, I say this with all humility, it's so genuine, and he does it effortlessly. He can just walk in this room.
That's nice.
And
I appreciate it.
Well, it's a good thing,
Great,
and I enjoy that.
I mean, I don't mind if any of you would want to say something about me. I mean,
Okay, so
I don't really mind.
for me, I think the humane part about Abeg, right,
Oh my God.
is that you can't trust food to be alive when you are asleep with him around. You can't trust food to be alive.
And that's no. Relax. Rather.
Yes.
Was it because of the chin you brought?
No.
No. Because no.
I've had two experiences with you.
You're telling on
The
yourself.
first one last year, right?
Your reputation
In
precedes
Nigeria,
you.
right? So when there's food in the fridge,
So he's speaking to the
and
camera,
just
trying to make the point.
the following day, don't trust the food to be alive.
Yeah.
So if it's only around here,
Yeah.
If
I mean,
it's
he's a
uncooked,
kitchen man, all right.
If it's uncooked, I want to alive it to make something for the team.
but what if it is
Already
it's
cooked?
Yes.
Right.
What time? What time do
Right.
you mostly eat?
No. What
Right.
time?
What time do you mostly eat? Around two.
Oh no. So
2 a.m.,
around
right?
those times, like there's a lot of fatigue, like the
Yeah,
stress going around,
yeah.
and especially what we are going to do. But this time around, when we went to Nigeria, I promise you that I was not the one with that treat.
Well,
And they will speak for themselves. You know what? We are
going.
let's
Yeah.
let's not expose
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why we actually
Yeah.
in Nigeria. Aside the fact that we can't fully undress the project on this particular episode, like what was generally the experience for each and every single person, considering the fact that we're there on a company visit that was quite necessary. I mean, that's one of the most notable events in Q1 we can never leave behind. So what was the experience like, first of all?
It was fun. I would say I expected to have fun, and I sort of did.
Wow.
But it was also edifying. Like you learn things, you find out things. One of the reasons was to meet up with clients and to put a face to all the voices you hear in Teams and stuff. So that was refreshing as well, meeting the clients, meeting some people, the prospects, but people we've been talking to over Teams calls. So that part was quite satisfying. And then obviously for the project, the communication and the learnings that have happened around it have also been very valuable. So for me, it was both relaxing and also edifying, I would say. It was good.
Great. Victor?
Added to what Calvin has said, I think walking into these rooms, these meetings with the onpoint name, like you mentioned, I think it was really an eye-opener because it made me, like, it confirmed within myself that I'm part of something. You know, like, yeah, I'm part of the onpoint team, and the onpoint team has a name. You know, we walked into rooms.
Yeah.
We walked into rooms with some confidence.
True.
And we were able to maybe not match the level of expertise,
but make demands and make
but
intentions known.
But it felt like these people were willing to listen to us because of the name that we came with. And I don't think I can forget that.
And I think the beauty of it is that the kind of culture we've actually come to meet, the self-empowering culture, like thanks to management, like you need to get it head on, you need to meet it head on. You are capable at, that kind of fire.
Yes.
Like literally sends you knowing that nobody's going to tramp on whatever you brought into the room. You need to be heard, you need to be listened to. Because you have something that is valuable that they need to hear. So I think that's one of the things that literally backs the team because trust me, when we are ready to actually fully talk about the very first, you'd get to know that these were some huge bulls we're going at by the own. Huge ones. You get it. So Ben, I mean, let's I think you would double down. Maybe we are speaking in parables, but Ben will perhaps
I've actually lots of words. It was a great experience. Meeting CIOs, CTOs of huge banks and huge institutions. Having the opportunity to sit with them in the same room. And also having the privilege of hosting Atlassian.
That was
I think that feeling was great. Onpoint being a young firm and being able to achieve all of these things in our first three years is quite an honor and a great achievement. So the feeling was nice. We don't see ourselves as probably how people see us. But one thing we are sure of is that we want to deliver some value, bring out the best out of what we have and serve our people well. So yeah, then that's it.
Okay, Kwame.
I think a lot of our movement is characterized by audacity. So we have developed a kind of audacity.
Right.
We have developed a kind of audacity. I think it's a part of the culture, and it seeps down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we move. But we're very humble, but just humility with a bit of audacity, or maybe a lot of it, I think.
So, let me just quote Jay. There's something he says that your gratitude to an opportunity is delivering. Your delivery. So, truth is, this is a company that could be set as the bedrock of financial institutions in Nigeria, and we get to be in the same room, have audience exactly on what we can deliver. I think we literally lived the words that, for this very opportunity that you've given us, we are showing up to the task. We are showing up fully prepared, fully ready to ever deliver.
True.
Perhaps with what I said, you would have had a clue of the institution I'm actually talking about. But I've said it about the umpteenth time that we'll be here to undress the project, the step by how it went, how the conversation actually started. And we have the perfect people actually. Calvin, Victor, Ben, and then would have G as well to fully undress that particular. But I'd want to ask, what does this mean for OnPoint when it comes to the co-creation of value? What does it mean to OnPoint to have to be seated at these various conversations or these various tables of conversations, and also having to host that last year in Nigeria?
All right, so we are preaching ITSM.
Yes,
as OnPoint, we are preaching ITSM, and it's a message we would want Africa and the whole world to know that we are the experts in that area. There are lots of areas in what we are doing, but we have decided that there's an area of expertise. There's an area of urgency that we would want to give out to clients, and then they would experience that there was a value there. For the past few years, 5 or 6 years, there wasn't any attention on ITSM. Even in Ghana, we held the first ever,
the very first premier ITSM event.
I think so. It could be same in Nigeria too, but we want to deliver the best service in ITSM and ensure that in Africa, in case you would want to have anything related to it, we should be the first guys to be called.
Yeah, and I think it's not even in just Ghana or Nigeria. If you take West Africa or even Africa at large, there's been nothing close to the events that OnPoint hosts in putting the word out there, on ITSM.
Yeah.
You get it. Yeah. So, I'll take Victor and Calvin's perspective as well, what it really means for OnPoint to have been in these rooms.
So I think it builds confidence. It gives, it puts confidence in the clients that they're real, they actually exist, and they're capable of it. But it for us, it gives that confidence, and so it also it sort of adds to the audacity that we can express. And knowledge is power. We have gained a lot of valuable knowledge, and so this also empowers the teams to do more.
Yeah.
So Victor.
Yeah, I think on the confidence part, both for ourselves and for the potential people that
would
we will be implementing this ITSM solution for, because they say that when you do something and it's nice, you don't have to convince someone else.
Yeah.
Like, let your results do the talking. So I think the confidence part is, I'm heavy on that, because it gives potential clients that, okay, yeah, we're preaching this, right, but they are willing to actually listen to us.
There was one instance where we walk into Africa RE, and I see like that experience was wholesome, because then these clients who sit on the back of the screens when we're having these meetings get to see for a fact. I remember Calvin passing a remark that he didn't know person was that tall as a giant. I mean, and he made Calvin look like a toothpick. If you ask me, so come to think about us, what? And I mean, that experience was wholesome because then it takes the conversation to a deeper level. Because behind the screens, as believed, yes, to some extent you're real. But then once we meet, it takes the conversation to a whole new other level, even deeper to, you know, whatever issues are that you discuss concerning implementation and stuff like that. So if you didn't know, OnPoint is your go-to Atlassian solutions partner, gold solutions partner for that matter, in West Africa and even in Africa and beyond. So whatever, listen, this is not a free advert. This is not a free advert, sorry. Whatever it is concerning, teamwork management, IT service management, whatever it is on any other front, project management, this is your go-to place. And also, perhaps you're wondering, you seem busy in a lot of things as well. Come on, listen, we are the guys, we are your plug, like they normally say it. Don't go to a PC for them to do it for you. You need to come to OnPoint. So I think we're probably wrapping up on this particular episode. But then I'll take from you was one thing that you leave Q1 with. Was that one thing? Maybe someone is listening. What's that one? Because, you know, I know you have a ton of things in your head. But the thing is, to someone who feels like, well, I didn't do much in Q1, like because some people believe that when the starting messes up, the entire thing goes to waste. You get it? So, I mean, what's that message for them? You know, I don't know if you've seen that video of motivation that says that if you want to go and do it, go and do it. If you don't want to go and do it, you don't go and do it.
You know, what I want to share might seem almost the same as what you said, right? I mean, so I think that there is a place to know when things won't work.
Okay.
Right? And you should stop that effort and focus on something new. There's actually a place to give up. It sounds funny, but you know.
But you are preaching.
I'm serious. There are some projects that we were doing, and you realize that this lane that we are towing, we know that it won't work. Just stop and read and
re-strategize. Yeah.
So I think that there is hope if you can only just pause at times and see if things are difficult and just restart. Right? Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. I mean, there's this general thing where people feel like you have to be. Discipline means a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like people feel like you have to wake up by 5:30 a.m. for you to be successful today, but that might not be the same for someone else. And sometimes people try to force a reality upon themselves based on what they've heard or what they see online on social media. So I'd rather say, in support of what Ben just said, well, maybe I wouldn't say giving up, but doing something else might doing something else or considering something else might be a path for someone to take. But also, for me, living with the flow, like waking up in the morning and whatever comes naturally to you, I think if you can dwell on that, you could easily pick up small successes and then pile them up. And before you know it, you have a successful Q1.
Awesome.
Great. So, I thought you were going to mention something about the beach, but since you didn't, we might as just probably going to love is at the beach, like you're going to zone in some Zen wisdom.
Maybe you should take Ben's advice. Sometimes it's good to give up sometimes.
Calvin. Calvin. Otherwise, I will have killed a lot.
What are you waiting for me?
Yeah.
Nigga.
About Lessons from Q1.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What were you waiting for?
I think it's useful to take note of the positive things that are happening, because it's like life is hard. Or life can.
And oh yeah, by default.
No. Honest, I don't know why
By default,
we can all just relate, because Charlie,
it can be hard, right?
Yes,
life can be hard, and if you're not careful, you will not realize or recognize the progress you're making. So do take some time to note down the positives that are happening, so that you can exercise gratitude. It's important when you're able to exercise gratitude and express it. It sort of fuels you to continue to do more. So this has been a bit of an experience for me in Q1. So yeah, I would say that take some time to be thankful.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd also want to add that it can take time for you to figure out what exactly it is that will work for you. And it's very understandable. It is very fine.
normal.
No pressure, no weight. But listen, the rate at which life is hitting, especially if you're a young person in Ghana, listen, it's quite alarming that you figure it out, now. Now, thankfully, there are lots of resources. If you need to talk to somebody, do that. If it takes you breaking out
today.
Yeah.
you what? Talk to an expert. I mean, that's on point. Talk to an expert today. Now, listen, but even if it demands that you break the barrier to speak to somebody, you need to do it. And the last thing is that, once you find it, develop a regimen. Have a certain system. Okay, this is actually wisdom I picked from somewhere, that you need to have a certain system in place. You need to know what works for you. When I wake up in the morning, know the kind of work. I think we're having this conversation about the types of workers we have. Some people do excellently when it's dawn, but when it's daytime, like, it's literally crazy. So for some others, it's vice versa. So find what works for you. Have a system around it. Even if it means that you'd have to go off during the day and put in the hours during the night. Like, just figure it out. Something has to work. Okay, so I think that's pretty much the very last thing I'll leave when it comes to. And listen, love is a beautiful thing. That's my camera, right? Love is a beautiful thing.
Are you talking out of experience?
So we've finally come to the end of this episode, but I think we'll just do rapid fire, and we're done. So I'm going to give you two options. You just shoot the gun. We'll go in that order, from Calvin, from Victor to Ben.
Okay.
And just we're not going to spend even a second. So once I say it, you quickly jump at it.
All right.
So fufu or eba?
Fufu, bro. Fufu.
Nigerian fufu.
Ew.
Ghanaian.
Okay.
Okay. So CDs or Naira?
CDs.
Cities in Nigeria.
Cities in Ghana.
Daytime or nighttime?
Oof. Easy.
Just go at it if you have it. Daytime or nighttime?
Night time, please.
Don't think about any
Daytime.
activity. Daytime for you.
Daytime. Yeah.
Night.
Somewhere in the middle.
I'm
Somewhere in the
Batman.
middle. Evening. I'll say night.
Night. Okay. Remote or on prep?
Remote.
Remote.
Chin or plantain chips?
Plantain chips. Yellow plantain chips.
No.
Yellow.
We will not entertain any slander
Yeah,
against
yellow.
red plantain. Listen,
Plantain chips.
both of them can save lives.
Take your
Don't-
own advice. It's a rapid fire.
Sure, it's a rapid. It's not even about me. I'm sorry. Chin or plantain chips?
Can I take both?
No, you need to drop one.
Plantain chips.
I'll go with Chin.
Chin.
Yeah.
I'll take his
Would it be specifically somebody's chin? Like, it's a name.
Chin.
Nigerian chin. Okay. I think Nigerian chin, but for Lucas only.
Special.
Yeah. You don't know for Lucas. We
Yeah,
might have it
yeah,
on
yeah.
one of the episodes. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, the big blow. Ghanaian jollof or Nigerian jollof?
Ghanaian jollof.
Yes. You're not betraying them.
Ghanaian jollof.
You're not speaking at gunpoint. You're not betraying Nigerians. Victor is a Nigerian, so yes.
Ghanaian jollof.
Nigerian jollof. Yeah.
You're serious.
Please.
I'm saying
It's a rapid fire.
for my clients there.
You're for the sake of your projects in Nigeria. All right, so guys, thank you so much, so much for being on this episode. It's been quite, a thrilling ride. We've talked about Q1, we've talked about notable events, and we've talked about some nuggets when it comes to even execution in our personal lives as well. So thank you, audience, for joining in. Stay tuned for the next conversation. I promise you it's going to be as thrilling, even as more than this. But stay tuned. I've said it already, and see you on the next one. Peace.